Hey Prime members, are you tired of ads interfering with your favorite podcasts? Good news! With Amazon Music, you have access to the largest catalog of ad-free top podcasts, included with your Prime membership. To start listening, download the Amazon Music app for free, or go to amazon.com/ad-free podcasts. That's amazon.com/ad-free podcasts to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
7 things you don't really need to know, but probably should. I'm Jamie East, and this is the Sunday 7. On today's episode of the award-winning Sunday 7, we take a good long sniff at the UK's water issues, we hear about a new hypnosis mask, and meet a rather old cat. Plus, Will Guyatt, the Smart 7's resident tech guru, dives into the world of top-secret and not-so-secret group chats and fills us in on what's going on with 23andMe. If you're enjoying these episodes, please do like and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. We're here 7 days a week at 7 a.m. with the 7 biggest stories on the Smart 7 in association with Metro. Before we get started though, it was on this day in 1842 that Dr. Crawford W. Long of Jefferson, Georgia, carried out the first operation using an anaesthetic. The procedure, which was to remove a tumour from the neck of a patient, saw an ether-soaked towel draped over the face of James Venable. Dr. Long was recognised for his achievement by being featured on a 2-cent stamp issued in 1940 and also having Doctor's Day created in his honour, presumably by highly relieved patients. Last month saw the Independent Water Commission call for views on the state of the water sector in England and Wales. Interested parties have until the end of April to submit views and evidence on the issues and the future direction of the UK's water industry. The commission's chaired by Sir John Cunliffe, a senior civil servant and former Deputy Governor of the Bank of England, and he says that already it's clear there are a number of serious issues with the system and that trust has broken down on all sides. One of those speaking out this week was former Olympian Sir Steve Redgrave, who wrote a letter to Environment Secretary Steve Reed to express his concerns about the state of the River Thames.
Basically, the government are giving licences to our water companies to fly tip raw sewage into our waterways. Now, we'd love to sit down at restaurants over the water, play in it, paddle in it, fish in it, swim in it, rowing it. That's where it should be. We used to be able to do that. Now we shouldn't be doing that.
River Action, the environmental campaign group, has tested water quality in the Thames ahead of the school's river race and found dangerously high levels of E. coli bacteria. Data released this week showed there were 3.6 million hours of sewage leaks into the UK's rivers in 2024. That's an increase on 2023. Dave Henderson, the CEO of Water UK, says the government plan to invest over $100 billion over the next 5 years will see an improvement in water quality.
From next week, actually, a tripling of investment will be carried out by all of the water companies across England and Wales, and that will see nearly half of the spills that we've seen in the most recent figures come down by the end of the decade. We will start to see the investment flow from next week, but yes, it will take time. I mean, this is an enormous network. Some of it is very old, so it is going to take time to dig it up.
And Sarah Montague, who's the Director for Water at the Environment Agency, says that consumer behaviour is also to blame for some of the mess.
I think we all know this. Fats, oils, greases down the drain, sanitary products down the drain all help to contribute to the problem because they take up capacity in our drainage networks that we really need for rainwater. But ultimately, it is the water industry's job to maintain those assets and to make sure that those problems are dealt with.
We've all had those moments, haven't we? You know, when you post the wrong thing in the wrong group chat, a picture of your knee in the neighbourhood chat, or a picture of your... Well, you get the idea. But I think we can all agree that the team of geniuses that the very stable genius Donald Trump has assembled to run America outdid themselves this week. And there's only one man we'd trust to run the Smart 7's group chat, and that's old nimble fingers himself, Will Guyatt, our trusty tech guru. So Will, how the hell did the editor of The Atlantic end up in a war plans group chat with the US Vice President?
Actually, it's quite simple. Somebody with sausage fingers added them to the secure private chat. Turns out that encryption can't beat stupidity. Although none of this is written down and officially documented, that would certainly appear to be the case. When you're trying to restack the deck of US politics to consolidate executive power behind more right-wing policies, you might want to avoid official records being kept. And if you're working quickly and efficiently, perhaps getting together in a room with no electronic devices to discuss crucial national security is going to take too long and is just too woke for you. Instead, just do it on an encrypted but technically non-secure platform. Whatever is next, Trump tweeting nuclear demands chance from the bog in the White House bunker?
I hope he wipes first. I've seen posts suggesting that Project 25 requires the administration to use apps like Signal to avoid the need to keep federal records of conversations. Is that true? Sounds like something they'd do.
Signal is definitely the security purists' messaging service of choice. Forget Telegram, which isn't actually encrypted unless you ask it to be so. Signal is open source and donation driven, so isn't owned by an organisation which is driven by commercial interest. Compared to Meta, Signal collects no data about the user, just its phone number and some very, very basic information from your phone, unlike WhatsApp, which gathers your contacts, what apps you've been using, and the specifics of your device. And it shares that with all of Meta's services, not just WhatsApp, with Facebook, with Instagram, and even their VR services too.
And how secure is Signal then, if you don't accidentally invite a journalist to your war plan group?
Both WhatsApp and Signal actually use the same security and encryption at the heart of it all, but what they've done is build loads of features onto WhatsApp, which means that 2 billion plus of us use it, compared to around 70 million for Signal.
And in other news this week, we've seen the demise of one of the great noughties crazes, sending off a DNA sample to see if you're 2% Arabic Prince or whatever you fancy. What's going on with 23andMe?
This is the ultimate illustration of where your data may end up if you don't read the terms and conditions of absolutely everything. I might have found out I was 20% pirate and 50% Wurzel, but ultimately my DNA data could now theoretically end up with my medical insurance company if they end up being the highest bidder in the auction for this monstrously large and currently private DNA database. There's around 15 million genetic records in this, and it's the company's prize asset in its forthcoming bankruptcy auction. What 23andMe have here is perhaps the ultimate personal data. It's not your bank account or sort code, it's your genetic structure, and shows the risk of you getting certain diseases and other really important signs about your health too. Some are now so concerned about what happens next with the data that even the New York State Attorney has urged residents to remove their accounts ahead of any sale. But ultimately, if you're worried about what happens now and you're joining the queue to delete your account and data from the service, you should probably be aware that 23andMe has already brokered at least 30 undisclosed agreements with companies like drug makers, allowing them to access your DNA records. And these were brokered when the company was super happy and not looking for every penny down the back of the sofa in a bankruptcy auction. Buckle up.
Doesn't bother me, I'm 40% Jedi. Finally, Will, we're seeing AI pop up all over the place, even on the Smart 7 actually. Hello, Jamie AI. But I wasn't expecting it in the world of fashion. What on earth are H&M up to?
In the relentless pursuit of progress, H&M have decided they don't need to hire models, makeup artists, stylists and photographers to create the images they use to flog Swedish clothes from around 4,000 shops and a website worldwide. Apparently they're going to make digital clones of 30 models and use them in some, I've just put air quotes around the some, which is a word they've chosen to use, social media and marketing materials. In the same way as we got Balenciaga Pope at the dawn of the AI revolution, who knows who H&M might choose to model their clobber. Don't worry though, they say this is all about showcasing fashion in new creative ways and promise not to change its human-centric approach, which is about as much word pasta as I can deal with right now.
My lad's just signed up as a model. Does that mean he's going to have to get an actual job?
Well, that's not for me to say, but what does an actual job really look like in 2025? My dad was a builder for 40 years. I just sit in front of a keyboard and a microphone most of the time, yet I'm more stressed. Go figure.
You, me both, pal. Thanks, Will. See you next week. Still to come on the Sunday 7 in association with Metro, some new jobs for robots and a blood test that could help beat breast cancer. Computer company Nvidia is at the heart of the current computer boom powering artificial intelligence. They've seen their stock soar as their high-end chips are in demand worldwide. Last week saw Nvidia branch out into a new area, robotics. They launched a series of new technologies intending to help supercharge humanoid robot development. One of the first companies to take advantage of the new tech is Disney, who are using the Nvidia engine to develop new droids based on the robots from the Star Wars universe. Moritz Baecher is a robotics researcher at Disney, and he was showing off early prototypes at an Nvidia show in San Jose this week.
You know, it can express happiness, it dances, but it can also express that it's shy at the moment, so it also can express that it is a bit angry.
But it's not just the United States that are exploring robotics. You might be aware of it, but the UK has an official robotarium in Edinburgh, which is the home for research on robotics and AI, and that's where the slightly creepy Amica lives.
I'm Amica, and I'm currently at the National Robotarium in Edinburgh. In hospitals or healthcare settings, I could assist with patient interaction, provide reminders for medication, and help streamline administrative tasks.
The potential for robotic assistance in NHS surgery and procedures is huge, but it doesn't necessarily mean an 8-foot robot with a scalpel looming over you. There are also interesting developments in areas like haptics that allow you to simulate the sense of touch remotely. Zaki Hussein is the founder and CEO of Touchlab.
These are the most advanced haptic gloves in the world. Haptics is basically the sensation of touch that you could get in either a virtual world or through, in this case, a robot. So you'll be feeling what the robot effectively is feeling from these gloves.
Haptics would allow doctors to examine patients remotely and reduce the risk of infection or improve the speed to response times to emergencies. There are also potential applications for dementia patients with a robot which has been developed to answer patiently to repetitive questions. Dr. Elaine Maxwell is an associate professor at London's South Bank University and a former nurse, and she's concerned that an over-dependence on robotic assistance may affect the level of care for patients, and that human supervision is absolutely critical.
We know that robots are very good at very predictable work, where nothing unusual happens. And the difficulty is that things that are unexpected are unexpected. So you can't program a computer for something that's unexpected.
There was good news this week about a potentially significant breakthrough in the detection of breast cancer. An Australian company called BCAL Diagnostics has invented a blood test to detect breast cancer markers, which could be more effective than current tests like ultrasounds and mammograms, which can miss tumours due to breast density. Jayne is the executive chair and co-founder of the company that's rolling out the new test, and she says it's a potential game changer.
Stage 0, breast cancer, or stage 1, you've got a 99% rate of survivability. Stage 4, it's about a 24% survivability rate. This will be the first blood test to rule out breast cancer. It's a game changer, it's compelling, and it's an Australian first.
It turns out there are other researchers on the same path. Dr. Sari Mohan is the Professor of Pharmacy at the University of New England, and he's also investigating the possibility of blood tests to detect early cancer markers. His project focuses on triple-negative breast cancer, which can be difficult to treat using traditional methods.
By having this technology available, we could potentially make this as part of their annual preventive care, and we can totally avoid and help patients in having a less invasive treatment for them.
Still to come on the Sunday 7 in association with Metro, an intriguing new invention, and we celebrate a 30-year-old cat.
Right after this.
Hey, you know what would make your customer service help desk way better? Dumping it and then switching to Intercom. But you're not quite ready to make that change. We get it. That's why Finn, the world's leading AI customer service agent, is now available on every help desk. Finn can instantly resolve up to 80% of your tickets, which makes your customers happier and gets you off the customer service rep hiring treadmill. Finn by Intercom, the leading customer service AI agent, now available on every help desk.
Welcome back.
One of the most exciting areas of development in healthcare at the moment is stem cell therapy. The stem cell therapy is an area known as regenerative medicine, and the stem cells are used to stimulate the body to work to repair areas that are diseased or damaged. The technique's seen success with patients suffering from paralysis, blindness, and even heart conditions. The stem cells are typically grown in a lab and can be customised to treat issues with blood cells, nerve cells, or the heart. There have been a number of successful stem cell-based procedures for heart patients in the UK, and Professor Anthony Mathur is the lead at the Centre for the Cardiovascular Medicine and Device Innovation at Barts Health. He says that while the treatment's proving to be very effective, it's still not totally clear why it works.
I think that's one of the things in medicine, you're never 100% sure, but the results are here, they're before you. So it's a 5-day pre-treatment in which we give an injection that sort of matures the bone marrow and the stem cells. And then on the 6th day, we, under a local anaesthetic, take the cells out, purify them, and that day inject the cells back into the heart. And our patients are so keen to go, we let them go home that evening. So it essentially becomes a day-case procedure. 4 to 6 weeks, they tend to start to feel better. What we'd like to think is it's growing back the damaged heart muscle, but I think what it actually is doing is just helping the heart cope with the situation that it's in. But amazingly, despite the sort of changes that we measure using very sensitive equipment and things, we see sort of subtle changes. It's actually the stories that we hear about the dramatic improvements and changes in people's lives that's really, truly amazing.
all had those nights where we just can't sleep, and whether it's white noise or low light or even no light, you just can't switch off. But now there's an interesting new invention from a French inventor and sleep innovator who joins me now on the line.
I'm Guillaume Gauthier, co-founder of the Hypnos Mask and app, alongside Kevin Kastelnik.
So how much of a struggle is sleep for people?
Sleep is a major concern in the UK. Stress, anxiety and excessive screen exposure are significant aggravating factors. Sleep disorders can also be influenced by environmental factors such as light, noise, or inadequate sleep habits.
What should we be doing then?
Maintaining consistent sleep and wake-up times, reducing screen exposure before bed, creating a sleep-friendly environment, darkness, comfortable temperature, quietness, practicing relaxation techniques such as breathing exercise or hypnosis to promote sleep.
Hypnosis isn't something I'd automatically associate with sleep, so how does it work?
Hypnosis is a natural state, but also a tool that allows individuals to use their imagination to shape their behaviors and eliminate limiting habits.
Right, tell me a bit more about your invention. It's called Hypnos, right?
Hypnos is a connected hypnosis mask designed to help users fall asleep more easily and improve sleep quality. The mask works through a combination of light and sound stimulation, along with hypnosis and relaxation sessions available in our app. It gradually guides the brain into a deep relaxation state, facilitating natural sleep.
How did you come up with it?
We initially worked with healthcare professionals in clinics and hospitals, mainly focusing on stress and pain management. We have conducted internal studies to validate the effectiveness of our hypnosis protocols with the Hypnos mask.
Okay, brilliant. What happens next?
Our ambition is to bring Hypnos to people around the world to improve sleep and manage stress. Expanding into the UK is a key step in our journey, and we are excited about the future.
Most domestic cats live to be between 13 and 17 years of age, with the world's oldest cat clocking in at 38. That was the magnificently named Cream Puff. But we may have a new contender this week as we head to Stockport, where proud owner Leslie introduced viewers of Good Morning Britain to his much-loved moggy, Millie. She was celebrating, well, as much as cats celebrate anything, her 30th birthday. And Leslie says it's all due to the work and attention he's put into her diet. She eats like a queen and only drinks Buxton water, apparently.
Sadly, when my wife passed away in 2020, all she ate was cat food, really, so I changed the diet to tuna in spring water, Marks & Spencer's skinless and boneless red salmon, mini prawns and wafer-thin ham and warm chicken. And I think by changing the diet right, I think that's kept her to a long life, plus all the love and attention that I give her. And I think that's what I put it down to, basically. When my wife was here, I'm sat on the settee now, next thing, without a word of a lie, a sparrow flies in, baby sparrow. I've never seen anything like this in my life. Millie comes in, jumps on the little poof, jumps on me, catches the sparrow by the wings. The sparrow's still in Millie's mouth, My wife picks her up, lets her outside, and the sparrow flies away. I've never seen she's like a flash, honestly. And that's probably only about 7 years ago. I've never seen anything like it.
This has been the Sunday 7. Wherever you're listening, do us a favour and hit the follow button. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. with the regular Smart 7. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Written, produced and published by Daft Doris.
Hey, you know what would make your customer service help desk way better? Dumping it and then switching to Intercom. But you're not quite ready to make that change. We get it. That's why Finn, the world's leading AI customer service agent, is now available on every help desk. Finn can instantly resolve up to 80% of your tickets, which makes your customers happier and gets you off the customer service rep hiring treadmill. Finn by Intercom, the leading customer service AI agent, now available on every help desk.